Hey, what it do? Welcome back to the channel. We're just having a great day. So I know I said this a couple videos back, but life has just been crazy. I've been insanely busy, got a lot going on right now. I'm still trying to squeeze stuff in for the YouTube videos, but today's video is gonna be pretty unreal. We're gonna be talking about the backhoe that's on the lowboy right now. That tractor has been sitting, I think, for roughly 3 years because we've had 2 other people tell us that the transmission's bad on it. And I think I figured out what's actually wrong with it. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna end up just being like a $150 switch that we picked up. So we're gonna see if it works in today's video. It does move underneath its own power, but if you look at it wrong, the transmission starts acting funny, quits moving, it's got a whole slew of problems. And hopefully we'll be able to get it fixed in today's video because this is a very useful tractor. And like I said, it's been sitting for 3 years. So if it does end up being that switch, we're gonna be super, super excited. But for now, I just need to get this thing unloaded because I need the truck tomorrow and I gotta leave it like 1 in the morning. So that's pretty much what today's video is gonna be on. As always, there may be something else that squeaks its way in there, but I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's go ahead and jump into it and let's roll.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands.
Perfect timing. We just ran out of gas.
There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from
Man, look at that beautiful Cadillac. Woo. You know what, instead of fighting with that floor, man, I think I'm just gonna take the whole thing off because it's kind of in the way. If this does work, I'm gonna be so excited. Because I really think I need to get like a standalone fuel tank out here specifically for gas because I hate these things. They're the absolute worst. Hopefully we have good history. Perfect timing. We just ran out of gas, but we are disconnected, so I can go ahead and pull forward. We got the little stabilizer bars down, so I'll just put some gas here in a second before we go to hook it back up. So before this thing started having issues, this tractor used to get used all the time. She was definitely a workhorse around here. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll be safe about this. We'll go ahead and lock the boom in place, throw the bucket in. Got a very squeaky chair. She could definitely use some oil. So like I said, this thing does move underneath its own power. And you're not allowed to look at it weird because then it starts to have problems. All right, we are off the lowboy. Let's go ahead and get her into the shop. Man, oh man, look at that beautiful Cadillac. Woo! What a piece of art that is. And I may have forgotten that the 299 was parked in here. So we got to pull this thing out real quick. All right, we got the 299 cleared out of there. So we can go ahead and pull this thing in. I'm kind of thinking that's going to be too high for the shop. I don't think I've ever had a backhoe in there. Oh yeah, that's definitely too tall. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that. This thing's about to turn into a wheelie machine. And sadly, that's all I have time for today. We just needed to get it in the shop off the lowboy so I can get the lowboy hooked back up, scoot it over and put it back into its parking place. And I'm hoping we get back at a decent enough time tomorrow to actually get this thing repaired because I don't think it's gonna take much more than an hour, maybe 2, 3 tops. We may give it a little bit of a service as well just because it's been sitting for so long. But this is something that I gotta get knocked out real fast, just get it done. Brad, if you watch this, I'm sorry. I promise I'm gonna get to your truck this week. It's just been super, super busy. So anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and get the Peterbilt hooked back up. Now that I'm thinking about it, I need to take some gas with me. And that'll probably be it for today. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, so originally I was planning on getting home around noon so we could get some work done on the John Deere, but I ended up having a meeting around 1 o'clock this afternoon, and it kind of pushed everything back. And I'm actually really tired because I got up probably around 1:30 this morning to go to work, so it's been a long day. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the actual clutch disconnect switch that I was talking about. You guys can see it's just basically like a little momentary type deal. It's got 2 wires, and it goes on this right here, which controls basically the arms and the bucket. And what this thing is pretty much for is if you're gonna be loading a truck, you go ahead and push this button in and you can basically put the machine in neutral without actually having to put it in neutral. So it's a pretty cool little feature. It's just to help load out trucks faster, I guess lift the arms up faster. Kind of like a forklift, how the left pedal acts as like a clutch and a brake. Same concept kind of, just helps you get work done more quickly. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make my way down to the house because I'm tired, but I will be up here first thing in the morning. We're gonna go ahead and replace this thing. So to do that, we're gonna have to take all this apart. We may have to climb underneath the tractor a little bit. I'm assuming this is gonna be pretty quick, pretty easy, but we'll find out tomorrow morning. I'll see you guys then. So feeling pretty refreshed. I'm even wearing shorts today. That's a pretty rare occurrence. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into this John Deere, see if we can get figured out. I think it's gonna be pretty straightforward. Doesn't look like there's gonna be a whole lot to it. We're gonna go ahead and start with taking off those 2 Phillips screws. And then we're just gonna have to like start diving into it because I'm pretty sure it's just gonna like go underneath, and then there's these 2 pins right here that you see. They're gonna connect into something, and I'm really thinking it's not gonna take that long. So hopefully it doesn't. I may be opening up a can of worms right now though, so let's go ahead and grab some tools and start yanking this thing apart. Usually I'll just use like hand tools to take these things apart, but today speed is kind of the essence, so we're gonna try and get this thing taken apart faster than normal. I've always wondered what was underneath here, and we're not gonna find out yet. Looks like we got some more screws to take out. All right. Take this one off. Woo. That's why I use hand tools. Got a number 3 screwdriver. You know, I need to get something just to prop that up. That'll work nicely. Oh boy. Well, the number 3 is still slipping a little bit, so it might be a number 4. Come on, don't let me down. Oh, man. So there might be a little bit of dirt in there that's prohibiting the screwdriver from going down as far as it's supposed to because it has been hanging out underneath this mat for a while. So we're gonna go ahead and try and clean this out a little bit. Oh yeah, there's definitely some gunk down in there. Now is it gonna be enough for it to take a bite again? Maybe, maybe not, but it's worth a shot. Oh yeah, I think we're in business. Man, that one is in there. Jeepers. Well, so much for being an easy project, you guys. Even turning it by hand, you guys can see this is a pretty old and rusty screw. It decided to break off. So we're gonna have to pull that out, gonna have to drill it, retap it, do all that fun stuff, but let's see if we got any more screws that hold this thing on. Yep, we got one more right there. Hopefully it doesn't meet the same fate. What a bummer. You know, instead of fighting with that floor mat, I think I'm just gonna take the whole thing off because it's kind of in the way. All right, that should make it a little bit easier. I'm actually gonna go ahead and vacuum it up real quick. All right, we're probably gonna meet the same fate as we did on the last screw. This one's looking pretty rusty as well. So wish me luck that we do not have a repeat. I'm gonna try and get all the gunk out of this one first so the screwdriver can go down as far as it's supposed to. Not looking good. This one's stripped out even though it was clean. Oh gosh, dang it, yep. So much for being an easy project. That's pretty bad. But that's okay. We'll get it figured out. A lot of dirt in here though. A lot of dirt. Holy cow. So Josh may have taken his can of Croil back. It's been hanging out here for the last couple videos. I'm not sure where it went, but I gotta get me some of that stuff. Regardless, we're gonna go ahead and spray some WD-40 in here. Let it soak a little bit. Hopefully it'll work its way down so we'll be able to get these out with too much work. but I'm not gonna do anything with it right now. I'm just gonna let it sit. And we're actually doing a little side quest right now. We got my father-in-law's dump trailer over here. The fender pretty much broke off of it the other day. So we're gonna weld it back up real quick. Shouldn't take me too long. He just pulled up. So I gotta drag the miller over there and lay a bead down for him, and then we'll be back.
Spend a bunch of time on it.
I had to build a new ground cable that was tall enough to get up to the top of the beams that roll across, because once I put the wheels on them, I couldn't just hook to the frame anymore.
Yeah.
So I think this will work. It's long enough. It'd be kind of nice to have a longer ground anyways.
I know.
Years. You know what we should have done?
Mm-hmm.
Let's hook the battery back up. Mm-hmm. We'll lift it up, and we could just use like a chain with a binder and pull it off the frame. I think that'll work good. Or even just a ratchet strap. That's enough. I wouldn't go too high because it's not hooked to the truck. All right, well, pretty quick repair. It turned out way better than it was. This thing was just flopping around. So that's all done. We can jump back onto the backhoe. Before we get too far into it, I'm gonna go ahead and see if these screws have decided to loosen up, because these are really bothering me. Not yet. Got a pretty good bite on there. Man, those things are in there. Jeez. No. Come on. All right, well, we got one of the screws out. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that one for now because it's just got a tiny little nub on it. That one's gonna be super hard to get out. But as far as the wire goes, it's gonna be a pretty quick and easy change because it just comes down through right here. And this is actually the pigtail right here. Now, what's pretty lame on John Deere's end is when you buy that $150 or $160 switch, however much it was, look at this. They don't even give you the connector. You have to reuse this part right here. So we're gonna have to take those out and successfully reinstall those. They could not have included like a $2 plastic piece on that $150 switch. Come on, guys. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get this all taken apart. I don't think there's any screws up here. I think this just separates from each other, and then we can go ahead and pull that out. But I could be wrong. I'm gonna go grab a flathead screwdriver real quick. All right, so I got my two smallest screwdrivers. Well, actually I have one that's smaller than this, but I think it'd be way too small. Hopefully it fits in there. We can go ahead and just gently pry this open, because I don't want to have to buy another one of these. Oh, there is a screw in there. This just got way easier. Oh, it's gone forever. There's that one. And there's that one. Now you would think that I could probably remember which one goes where, but just on the off chance that I forget, we're gonna go ahead and mark it so that I do not forget, because that would suck. And actually, I don't really even think it matters. I think it just closes the circuit, so it doesn't really matter which one you do. but the actual clip has an A and a B on it. So to signify A, I'm just gonna do 1 mark on the red wire, and B, we're gonna do 2 marks on the green wire. That way I can replicate it on the new cable. Okay, we got this clip that comes off. I think these just are supposed to pop out, maybe. That would be great if they did, but they don't. Let me take a look at the new one. I want to booger it up. There's just these 2 little clips that are prohibiting it from coming out. So it's almost like I need something to slide over it or just yank really hard. That works. Okay, easy. I'll tell you right now, the click on this one feels much more substantial than it does on this one. So I really think this is going to be our fix. It does have a slot in there to hold it in place from rotating. I have no idea where I just put the top cap. You guys would think it would be up here somewhere, but it's gone. So I need to find that real quick. All right, I found it. It's made its way underneath the back of the seat. All right, let's go ahead and get this cover back on. Oh yeah, that sticks out way farther than the other one did too. So I really think that's gonna be our problem. Craig, I'll get that. Oh, I almost made a mistake. I was putting the old cables back in. Let's go ahead and, oh yeah, that was almost bad. Okay, green has the 2 marks, so that goes on B. Put the little weatherproofer back on it. All right, so I just got the official story on the history that is the transmission of this backhoe. It's been to 3 different places. It's been to a guy out in Arizona. It's been to another mechanic here in Southern California. And then, just because I like the guy, I'm not gonna mention who he is, but he's probably gonna watch this video. He also thought it was the transmission. So it's been to 3 separate mechanics. And if it works, which I really think it's going to right now, it's gonna be kind of a funny story. So, what do you think? Think it's gonna work?
We'll see if Muddy Waters kicks butt, man.
We'll see how this goes. I'm feeling pretty confident though, just because of when I did use it the other day, how it was acting. I think it's fixed. So let's cross our fingers. We're gonna go ahead and start it up. We're gonna let it warm up a little bit. You guys, if this does work, I'm gonna be so excited. All right, now that we're out of the shop, we can go ahead and lift the boom back up. I know you guys think my skinny white legs are sexy, but camo shorts were made for Saturdays. So I'm feeling confident in my repairs and that we're actually gonna be able to go do some work right now. So we're gonna go ahead and check the air pressure on all the tires. So if it does not fail us, we'll be able to just keep jamming. 20 pounds, looking a little bit low. I think we're supposed to be like 35 on these. Yeah, 35 PSI. Yep, looking good on that one. So it's just the tire on that side that's a little low. Almost there, just need another 5 pounds. All right, we are looking good. Let's go do some work. All right, well, now that we've ditched the backhoe bucket that was in the front, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys who are not familiar with these backhoes what that little button does. I know I talked about it a little bit earlier in the video. So basically, let's imagine we're gonna be loading a dump truck right now. Let me go ahead and move this back down. Let's say we got a nice healthy scoop of dirt and we wanna lift the bucket up real fast. So instead of putting it into neutral like that, what you can do is just push this button in, and that's basically gonna put it in neutral or like push a clutch in. So you go like this, and disengages it. Go ahead and lift up the bucket real quick. And then when you let go, it puts it back in gear. And I think that's what the problem was, is that button was sticking and forcing the tractor to go into neutral, which was making people think that the transmission was having problems. So let's actually go do some work and let's see if it continues to have the same issues. It is entirely possible that I failed, but on the chance that I did not, we're gonna save about 15 grand. I'm gonna go ahead and shift through all the gears just to make sure they all work. I think I'm in second right now. We'll go ahead and take it down to first. Okay. So first we're good. We're gonna go ahead and put it into second. Jamming along pretty nicely. Go ahead and put it into third. bumpy. Let's go ahead and put it into fourth. Then we're gonna go ahead and put it into fifth. Just kidding. Backhoes don't have 5 gears. All right, so the work that we have cut out for us, you guys can see I have these nice, beautiful 5 piles of just magnificent chicken poop, and it smells great. Now, the reason we have this is because we're gonna attempt to plant this field again come late summer, early fall, and I need to start spreading this out. We need to mix it in. So I'm just gonna start scooping, start doing some work, and if it works, it works. So I don't really have anywhere good to set the camera, and this isn't gonna be very exciting. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try and spread it all out. Probably gonna take me about 20, 30 minutes, and then hopefully we have good news for you. You guys, I think I fixed it. I've been running it pretty hard for about 5 minutes now, which is more than enough for it to get up to temperature. We're having 0 issues. She's still just running great. I'm going through like all the gears constantly. You guys can see I've got a decent amount of it spread out so far. So we're just gonna keep going, but I think we're good. All right guys, well, as much as I wanna finish spreading it all out, I do not have time for it today, but we've got a solid 10 or 15 minutes of running the backhoe, and we've had 0 issues. Whereas before, I think it was like, you know, I wanna say 2 or 3 minutes, and then it would start having problems, but that was just this thing sticking around. I think it's safe to say that it's fixed. So tomorrow morning, I'm gonna jump back on the backhoe. We're gonna finish spreading out the rest of it. And then we gotta fire up the old John Deere. I'm gonna turn the sprinklers on. We're gonna soak everything real good, and I'm gonna mix it in. We'll let ever weeds wanna grow, and then I'll disc it again, hopefully before they can go to seed. So that way we'll have like a nice semi-clean field that hopefully a zillion weeds don't grow in. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if that's how that works, but you guys, I think it's safe to say that the backhoe's back in action. What do you think? All right. Hey, no problem. You guys, unreal. Unreal. If I hadn't done that asphalt project the other week, this thing probably would have sat for another 2 or 3 years. Just because we were thinking it was 15 grand to replace a transmission. And this backhoe really does not do that much work, so it's hard to justify spending that kind of money on it. But $150 switch all day long, guys. She's just running like a dream right now. All right, guys, so we're letting the backhoe warm up for a little bit. She's still running pretty good. I'm really excited for today. Today's gonna be day number 2 of actually putting this thing to work, making sure that the transmission still does not have any problems. I'm guessing we're gonna put like a solid hour, hour and a half. And then we're gonna be firing up some stuff that I built probably a year ago. We're gonna be turning on the water cannons. After we get all that poop spread out, we're gonna let it soak. And then we're gonna run the disc up there with the old John Deere, try and mix some of that stuff in, and then we'll probably let it sit. So we're gonna go ahead and get to work. You guys may have noticed this sitting on the ground still. This is the cover that goes over the joystick. I'm still missing the screws. I need to go get some new ones. And I actually have not tried to take out that second one that broke off, because that one's gonna be near impossible. And I don't feel like doing it right now, and I wanna go run the tractor. So let's go put her to work and see how she does. So as exciting as spreading poop around is, we're gonna go ahead and set the GoPro up on our cattle chute. We're just gonna set it up on a time lapse and hopefully gets a good picture of everything. And hopefully we don't end up with me stranded in the middle of the field with the backhoe not working. And then when all is said and done, all the poop's spread out.
Well, howdy, y'all. Well, did you miss me? Go on and say I told you so. Yeah, now I know the straight life is a no-go. Yeah, I was wrong. I tried to get domesticated, but yesterday I finally couldn't take it, and I was gone. I probably should have told my wife, but the minute I saw the light, I just dug out my boots and threw out the fanny pack, sold the van and got my old Harley back, cranked up the bike and flew out the cul-de-sac, straight to the nearest bar. AC/DC on the jukebox, back in black, got so drunk vodka, singing like a maniac. Smoked so much I about had a heart attack. So it's a fact, the rascal is back. They got back, I ain't gonna lie. I dressed up in a suit and tie, pulled out the driveway 7:45. Yeah, in the morning. She started having baby fever. She made me trade my Harley for a Kia. Oh, help me, Lord. I saw my reflection in the mirror.
I think it's safe to say that day number 2 has passed and that the 410 Backhoe is officially a unit. All it was that little button. She's been running great. But as far as actually spreading the poop out, I think I'm actually gonna run down and grab the old grater because that has a 12-foot blade. And I'm just gonna kind of lightly skim this stuff around. And then after that, son, we'll go ahead and turn on the water cannons. All right, guys, well, I'm pretty stoked to have the 410 Backhoe all put back together. Obviously, I still need to like dress it up with all the trim pieces and everything. But I don't know whether it's funny or sad that this thing has been to 3 professional mechanics and none of them were able to pinpoint such a basic little problem. And it just took me driving it around for like 5 minutes to figure out what it was. And I'm pretty certain that that's what it was, because as you guys saw, we were just driving it around for the better part of an hour and we had 0 issues with it. And that was day number 2 of not having any problems. So super awesome to have it back. I don't know if it's gonna stay here. It runs back and forth between my father-in-law's and here, but it is a very handy tractor to have around. But I don't want there to be any misconceptions. This John Deere does not belong to me. There's only room enough in my heart for one John Deere, and that's the old 2020. So enough with the corny jokes, but I don't know if you guys have been following along my Instagram, and I think I even put a YouTube short up on it. The Caterpillar grader is just working phenomenally. I love this thing. We're gonna go ahead and throw some more gas in it because she does get awful fuel mileage. Literally 1 mile per gallon when it's working. So I've got a 5-gallon jug on the ground over there because the pony motor on the lowboy ran out. And I think roughly like 3 gallons will probably take care of what we need today. I do not like to leave gas in the tank, so I typically only put in what I'm gonna use, and I think 3 gallons will take care of us today. I really think I need to get like a standalone fuel tank out here that's specifically for gas because I hate these things. They are the absolute worst. All right, well, we've got about half a gallon left in there. We're gonna save that for something else, maybe the ride-on. But hopefully we have enough. If not, it's not the end of the world. I think I got another 5 gallons in the shop, so let's go ahead and see if we can get this thing started. I'm guessing today it's gonna take me 3 separate tries to get this thing started. Last time it was 4. Let's see if we can get it down a little. Drip it. Maybe we can get it on 1. Nope. Oh, come on. Gosh dang. Not on my A game today, guys. One shot over. Almost there. Rookie numbers right there. Jeez, 6 tries. Yeah, so as far as efficiency goes, the grader's got the Backhoe smoked on spreading the poop around. She's just doing a great job. Now, is this still the ideal tool for this? No, they do make manure spreaders, but they're like 15, 20 grand for a small one. Maybe there's some that are less I can find used, but I'm just using what I have. Maybe eventually I'll get one, but for today, this is just working great. I'm still very much in like the experimenting phases of trying to actually grow stuff. I'm not great at it, so I'm just going little by little. All right, well, the old Caterpillar did pretty good. You guys can see it's all spread out pretty evenly. Right here is kind of a little bit of a mess. We'll sort that out later. That kind of became like an impromptu little dirt road into the alleyway. So we don't really want this here anyway, so I'll fix that later. But for now, I think everything's spread out pretty good. The middle's kind of bare still, but it is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and run down to the shop instead of doing another circle on this thing because I need to grab some oil and check the fluids on our well pump up there, because we're gonna fire that up next and turn the water cannons on for just a little bit. All right, I think we're gonna go ahead and mix things up a little bit underneath the hay barn right here. Typically I was parking the grader right here. You can see the tire tracks. I'm gonna go ahead and move the lawnmower out of the way. This is probably gonna go back in the shop. We're gonna stick the grader right here, backhoe where the grader was, and then we can stick the 299 over there, and everything will just fit in here very nicely. So I'm actually gonna head down to the house real quick. I got a couple projects that I gotta wrap up there real quick, but I'm liking the way this backhoe looks right here. I think it's gonna look pretty fresh with the 299 right here. We'll have a nicely stacked hay barn. I think the old John Deere's actually gonna fit back there as well. So I've actually got Steve coming over real quick. He needs to borrow the forklift attachment off the 299. I guess he's got some pallets that he's got to move at his house. So because of that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and push watering that field up there back to later this afternoon, because I got a couple projects I gotta finish at home anyways, and maybe it'll cool off a little bit, and I'm kind of smelling like chicken poo. I think I've had enough of it for a little bit. And so as soon as Steve gets here, we'll get this unloaded, and I'll be back up here this afternoon and get some more work done. All right, well, the day's winding down. I almost got all my little knick-knack projects finished around the house, but we're gonna go ahead and run and feed all the animals real quick, give them some hay. And while we're at it, we're gonna go ahead and turn the water cannons on. We're gonna let them run for probably 30-40 minutes. And I love watching these things. They're super cool. It's incredible how much water these things spit out. If you guys are new to the channel, you may have seen them in the background. I built them probably a year and a half ago. Tried growing some hay and it just didn't work out. So we're gonna be trying it again this year. And let's cross our fingers that we have a successful crop and I don't just throw a bunch of money in this field again. But we're gonna go ahead and start up the well pump. We are going to have both cannons going, and they cover almost this entire field. And whew, you guys, it is still stinky up here. That chicken poop is some pretty pungent stuff. So anyhow, before we get the well pump up and going, we have to go ahead and turn on one of the sprinklers, because if we don't have a way for the water to escape, that well pump does not have like a pressure relief or a blow off valve, and it'll start blowing the pipes up. So we got to go ahead and open up one of these. It's been a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera down. All right, so right off the bat, you guys can see how much water these things shoot out. Pretty impressive. It's even more impressive once this thing gets up and going. All right, well, now that we got the diesel pump going, you guys can see how much water these things actually shoot out. They are just incredible sprinklers. Pretty good for fire control too, but we're gonna go ahead and open this one up, because if I have just the one sprinkler going and I have the pump running like it is right now, it almost shoots too far. So you guys can see it's like going into the entryway. We don't want that. So we're gonna go ahead and open up this one too. Woo. Got the camera a little bit wet. All right, you guys can already see the pressure start to drop down a little bit, because we've got two outlets for a lot of water. They still have just incredible coverage, but they cover almost this entire area. So we're gonna go ahead and let them run for the better part of like 40 minutes, maybe even an hour. Get a nice good soaking up here. We'll let it sit overnight, so that way some of the dirt underneath it is able to soften up, and then when I come up here in the morning with the discs, I'll actually be able to mix it up. Good morning, back at it again. We are on the old John Deere. I have exactly 1 hour before we need to take off in the Peterbilt, so we're gonna try and be kind of quick about this. Gotta go hook up the disc. And now that I'm actually thinking about this, I think I took off the hydraulic coupler adapter things that I need for that. Yeah, I need to go grab those real quick. So I don't know if this is still common practice, but I think back in the day, like all the different tractor manufacturers like John Deere, there's an old International Harvester over there, they all like to have their own fittings. And I believe the disc was originally pulled by the International Harvester, which is this style fitting, so I had to buy these adapters to fit into the John Deere fittings. It's kind of a headache, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and hook up to the disc. Let's go disc that field up there. I'll say that having fixed a starter on this thing is much nicer. Which works great. So I'm not 100% sure where my hitch pin went, so we got a pretty good sized nut and bolt in there. And I really don't even... So I'm not 100% sure where my... So I'm not 100% sure where my hitch pin went, so we've just, we've got a nut and bolt in there. It really should have washers. It's like just a little bit bigger than the hole, but I think it'll work for today. So yesterday before I turned on the water cannons, I mean the dirt up here was just dry. And even sitting overnight, it's looking like a lot of the water's kind of evaporated a little bit. So we're looking a little bit dry right here. Still got some pretty good moisture over there. I don't know how good this is gonna do right now, but we're gonna go for it anyways. Got the disc down, let's put it in gear. I think we're gonna go third. I don't think it's gonna pull too hard. We'll see, might have to put it in second. We are on the outer ring still, so this is where it wasn't getting quite as much water. All right, so I'm just about done disking the field. You guys can see I'm about to run out of shade. The sun's coming up behind me, and I don't feel like staring into the sun. And so when I get back today, we'll go ahead and fire up the sprinklers again. It'll probably soak up a little bit better now that the dirt's all broken up a little bit. It was pretty hard packed. But I think as far as the old John Deere goes, we're done for the day. I'm gonna go ahead and head back to the shop. All right, well, that about does it for me today. I was just trying to squeeze in a little bit more before I had to take off for work. And if you guys could do me a huge solid like, subscribe, share this video with your amigos, hit that notification button down below so you guys can continue to see whatever else we got going on, and I will see you guys next time. Later.